What's up, fam? Welcome to MIKEroaggress'd Tuesday. I'm so excited. It has been way too long. Welcome back, my beloved comedian, TV host, all-around wrong thinker extraordinaire, and somebody who I have a very special relationship with. It's mostly sexual in nature, but Mr. Josh Denny.
I knew you would throw that in. You know what's funny is before we jumped in here, I got into a back and forth with a friend this morning of like 20 years. And I was just like, "Hey man, when did you become such a fucking faggot?" And then I was thinking about that and I was just like, dude, I have so many gay conservative friends that I would not consider faggots. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, so I think it's so funny. Like a lot of my liberal friends are like, "Oh, you must hate gay people." I'm like, actually, it's a majority of my friends on the right that I talk to regularly are the gays. And by the way, you guys make a great case for the lifestyle. Like you're always happy. You're always in a good mood. I feel like, but this is the thing. You and Brandon have been very, very direct with me over the years. Like, listen, we don't want you. So I just got to stand outside the amusement park, peeking through the fence like some orphanage kid.
I mean, you probably are much less homophobic than I am. Like, I can't.
This is true. This is true.
No, I always say that. I'm like, there's a difference between being gay and being a fag. There's like straight people who are just fags.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and I think anybody who's like openly celebrating the death of a very great, nice man is a fucking fag. There's just no other way to describe it, right?
100%. First of all, hello to all of our beautiful chat friends, Christy, Drew, Dylan, everybody. Thanks for being here. Peter, Saw, Unit. Thank you, my love. The straightest man on YouTube is here.
Must be talking about you.
Gay must YouTube be?
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, it's gotten a little bit less gay after today. I don't know if you heard the news.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. You know what's interesting too is I posted. I go, "Oh, what's this? Evidence of actual government censorship." Everybody was so quick to point out the Kimmel thing as being horrendous, and I had listen. I don't know if you saw this, but since the post I shared of Gavin McInnes on Friday of last week, which ended up getting him back on X, right? People don't realize that Gavin has been banned on X since 2018 because of the Proud Boys stuff.
I didn't realize I just assumed like he was, too cool for it or something. I didn't realize he was still banned.
Yeah, most of the people I talked to were like, "Oh, we just assumed that he was banned." And then when they gave it back, he was like, "Fuck you, I don't want it." No. They did not allow him back. Nobody ever allowed him back. And this is the reason is always that, like, even the centrists, and this was a long time criticism I had of the Ben Shapiros and the Charlie Kirks and everybody, is that they loved being able to stand to the left of people like Gavin and people like Brandon who are at J6. Like, they love pretending that we're the extremists and that they're good moderates, right? That are reaching across the aisle. But no, Gavin had never been invited back. And I had shared a clip of him talking about the Kimmel thing, being like, "We're fucking done caring about being called hypocrites. Like one of us has been shot. Like the fucking gloves are off," and as he said, other colloquialisms such as that. So, he
articulated my thoughts exactly. I think people who want to be standing on formality so much and be so principled, that they don't understand the landscape. Maybe it's because they haven't lived in blue city hell like we have, that they don't get just how bad things have gotten and how close we came.
They're also not on the front lines like you and I. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend we're fucking soldiers carrying rifles, right? But like, this is one of the reasons I have the utmost respect for you, the utmost respect for Brand. And there's a thing amongst those of us who do public appearances in the faces of people who want us dead that just the average person can't understand, right? And so I'm sure, like me, when you saw that shooting at UVU, you thought, I don't know, how many times could that have been one of us at one of our events? Like, because those same lunatics are following us around. Like, they followed you guys around Beverly Hills all day, and the week before that, they were outside of our comedy club, harassing and attacking, same people harassing and attacking the attendees of our show. Now, we're very smart, and so we didn't bring Gavin and everybody else through the front door. But imagine if we did. How do we know that if we didn't enter through the front of the door while they were waiting to attack, that gunfire wouldn't have rang out? You know what I mean? So it's like, so that's a thing that you very much have to imagine, and we know as a risk. It's like, listen, all of us have been either pepper sprayed or hit, or the milk shaking when that was happening. That was everywhere. So like, we've all had something happen, like a fucking megaphone in your ear, siren in your ear from some protester.
They
so it's
try
like
to provoke you to hit they will do everything to try to provoke you into striking first. And
yes,
so damn disciplined. It's not easy.
So, what you said, Gavin perfectly stated how you felt. Well, not just you, obviously a lot of people, because that post went viral, got 1 million views, got Elon's attention, and Elon reinstated Gavin and put him back on X. And I don't know if somebody had gone through to everybody that was in the chain of that happening to see who had shadow bans or bans or whatever. But like, I don't think I just all of a sudden started making brilliant points, but I've had 4 tweets since Friday in the millions of impressions. And it's just continuing to build and continuing to build. So you can't help but think that this stuff that came out today about YouTube and the Biden administration, certainly probably, like, we know it applied to Twitter because of the Twitter files. We know it applied to a lot of these other social media companies. And it's pretty obvious that despite the rumors that Trump's FCC tried to put pressure on Kimmel, he's back tonight. And now you're seeing yet another example of where the right had been completely fucking shut off of social media because of directions of the president and his administration under Biden.
It's insane too. These people who suddenly for 2 seconds pretended to care about, free speech. When they really are just on the side of lying, because that's what he was, all he ever was going to get is a slap on the wrist, but it was for just abjectly lying. They are always against the side of truth. And then you look at the people over the last couple of years who've been, Gina Carano got fired from her job for saying beep, bop, boop.
Right. Yeah. And that was just her. People think that was her mocking, trans people or whatever, but she's been very clear. Like, I used to talk to Gina when that happened. Gina and I's thing was kind of close together. So we talked a lot in the early days. I haven't spoken to her in years, but, her co-stars were putting a ton of pressure on her to capitulate. Like, people forget that, there was a thing. I don't remember if it was an interview or if it was public or whatever with Pedro Pascal, where he was like, just fucking do it. Like, just do it, Gina. Stop, resist. It was literally like they're trying to bully her into putting pronouns in her bios.
Pedro Pascal, by the way, perfect example of a fag.
Yes. Yes.
That guy
Mr. Fagtastic. Yes. Yeah. If you
weren't this like little soy boy liberal just feeling up all these women.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Like, we know isn't he married? So we know he's not Yeah, I think so. And we know he might not be, but we know he's not gay. He's supposed to be straight, and he's just fucking rubbing these bitches down on couches and watch what happens live. I mean, like, this guy
has an anxiety problem, Josh.
Yeah, it's almost like this guy found the loophole where he's like, listen, if you put the pronouns in your bio and you start saying all kinds of gay shit, you can finger fuck them on television. Like, then they won't care. He's literally like Trump on the bus to Billy Bush, where he's like, listen, if you're famous, you can grab them by the pussy. Pedro Pascal is literally grabbing women by the pussy on TV, and they're just like, isn't he sweet? Isn't he a sweet, nice man with his glasses? I've never seen a Mexican in glasses. He must be a sweetheart.
They're gonna have like some dudes just like grabbing tits and being like, oh, it's just my anxiety problem.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, these people who suddenly care about free speech, had no problem when the government was pressuring all of these companies to ban people. And the thing is, back in the day, like when I was getting banned from everything, they would just make shit up to ban you. There wouldn't even be something that they could latch on to, a word you use. No, if they didn't have something, they would just make it up. Like, I never got a reason why I was banned from Twitter 4 times or why I was banned from Instagram 11 times or, like, you know?
Yeah, what's interesting is I never caught a ban. And I wonder if that's because I got such an ass kicking on my first cancellation where they're just like, "Oh, we're just going to let this guy take all the fucking arrows." You know what I mean? So like there was a period of time after that where it was like everything I posted, and it's still a lot like this, where whether it's bots or whether it's just my stuff is getting algorithmed into a lot of left-wing accounts. You get so many dissenting voices in terms of comments, but then you go look at like the engagement, and like for the tweet I had about Kimmel and Charlie, where I'm like, oh, can we bring back Charlie? Oh, we can't. So these things aren't the same. Like that tweet has like almost 750,000 impressions and like 50,000 likes. But if you look at the comments are overwhelmingly left leaning.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
They must all have me muted. I never hear from those bitches anymore. They got sick of me or something.
Yeah. So in a weird way, I think some of us caught bans, and then some of us were like, they almost used us as almost like controlled opposition. So they would let you post what you want to post, but then they would only feed it to people with opposing political views, so that your views could essentially just be so strongly opposed that it creates this groundswell of like, oh, it must be fucking retarded to think like this guy. Look how many people hate what he's saying. You know what I mean? It's like a mob thing. Too.
It was the more sort of semi-moderate people that were getting banned. Like, I remember when I was banned from everything, fucking Richard Spencer wasn't banned from anything. Right. David Duke wasn't banned from everything.
Right,
so I thought that was deliberate, that they want that to be the figurehead of the right.
Yeah, so that's why I said I think some of us they used as control opposition, and then some of us, you know, like Gavin, they were like, well, he's clearly Hitler. He started a group, you know. So and I'll tell you,
by the way, he was the first person to ever be on a show. He's a great guy. He had me cracking up laughing at Chrissy Mayer's wedding. Like, I love Gavin.
Oh, he's the best. He's absolutely the best. I mean, you know, and the thing is like, he really is most of us in terms of like, I think we're all people, everyone who's involved with Walkaway are people who started being like classically liberal or libertarian or whatever. And then the fucking world just shifted. And now we find ourselves on the right. Like, free speech was never a right wing issue in the 90s or the early 2000s. You know, and it's and you and I have had all kinds of conversations about our beliefs. The thing that I love about doing walkaway events is you go in the back of a walkaway event and you meet all the speakers, and we have such a diverse set of views. Like some of us are like more libertarian, some of us are more Christian conservative, some of us are more, you know, like classically liberal in the Bill Clinton 90s sense of the term. So like you can actually have really good discussions with people and disagreements. And, you know, like the problem with the left is that it's not like the right, and that most of us on the right can get together and joke about the things that we see differently, or have good spurious debate and discussion over the things we think differently. They want to fucking kill us.
Yep. And I've been saying that for years, and I've been told, oh, you're exaggerating, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, for all these people who just pontificate about Antifa and the left and stuff, but have never experienced it up close. Like, no. These people want you dead. Like, I've been face to face with Antifa. I've never seen hatred from someone like that before. There's just nothing behind their eyes except pure hatred. And
were you at Berkeley when they chased Walkaway up the fucking street like you guys?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, like you guys were blacks in the civil rights. It was fucking the footage of that. Well, the footage of that is hilarious because you got to watch Nick run. But the footage, like that's the thing, is like that's why I have to stand and fight, because I ain't fucking running. I don't have the cardio for that. So I would just have to stand there and fight, because I'm not going to be caught like Nick Miles trying to run down the street from Antifa, my fucking titties flapping in the breeze.
We got chased once by a mob of like 50 people in Dallas, all BLM activists. So I'm like running down the street in fucking hot pants, ass cheeks flapping.
Well, and the cognitive dissonance that they have, where they can literally sit across from somebody like Gothic's Vanessa, who's a black conservative, and be like, you're a white supremacist. And you're like, are you fucking retarded?
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you listen? Why don't you just listen? No.
They never come because I think so many of them are in such a bubble that they're not used to being pushed on things. They're not used to being asked questions, and they've never even considered this sort of cognitive dissonance.
Well, you did some of the college tours with Walkaway recently, right? Like the whole LA run and everything.
These bitches are fucking nuts.
How was that? What was that like?
I mean, I love it. It was great. But
I wasn't
crazy. They're just like possessed. I mean, it's like talking to a fucking Scientologist.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to participate because Natalie doesn't like me. She thinks I'm an incel because I don't think women are cool these days.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well,
I genuinely don't think they're cool these days. But she still has some of that. I tell Brandon, I go, she still has some of that left because she's a liberal that came over to the right. And I go, she still has some of that like left wing. Oh, this is the same thing you encounter with comedy, by the way. Like everybody's like, I'm for whatever in comedy. And then when you find their particular thing, then they're just like, oh, that should never be joked about. It's the same thing with people's political ideology. Like the third rail for her is obviously criticizing women in any way in modern society. And I don't pull any punches with women when it comes to how soulless and fucking transactional they've become.
See, that's how I feel about the gays.
Are the gays the same way?
Oh, I can't imagine that women are as bad.
I don't know. Maybe we should race them. Maybe we should get a bunch of them together. You and I should do like a jubilee and we can find out who's worse, women or gays.
By the way, wait, parentheses. We got to come back to this, but real quick, because you just reminded me. I got an email today from fucking Jubilee.
Did you?
I want to know because they'll send me emails sometime wanting me to like participate. And I always say no because they don't go for shit. They don't cover anything. They want you to pay money to anyway.
They want you to fly yourself to Los Angeles, right?
Oh yeah. Put yourself up, all
yeah.
that. Like, for that. I get an email today from Jubilee. We're casting our new episode, Children versus Convicts.
What the fuck is that?
I have to click on this and see if it's like, there's got to be an explanation behind that. That's
hilarious. Right? Actually, it would be funny to do like Jubilee spoof videos where it's like midgets versus the obese. Oh you know God, what I mean? You know, or like midgets versus tall
versus formerly incarcerated individuals. What the fuck?
Nice.
What is the crossover there? Is it going to be
also, why are they choosing you for that one?
Wait, I gotta bring this up. Like, I can't believe this is a real thing.
Insane.
Like, if they just run out of ideas or what? We're seeking passionate kids ages 6 to 13 and formerly incarcerated individuals to participate.
They literally had one that was like fats versus anorexics, and you're like, what the fuck are we doing?
Participate in a conversation about what? A 6-year-old and an inmate. Why?
I would love to do fats against anorexics and just be like, have you guys tasted food? It's awesome. What are you doing?
Dude, I wish I could be anorexic. I love food too much.
What do you mean be anorexic? You might be the only human on Earth that has less of an ass than I do.
Aw, thanks.
And I have like Hank Hill ass. Like my ass is awful.
No, I only have upper legs.
That's probably why the gays won't take me. They're just like, what are we gonna fucking pound our dick into cement? No thanks.
Yeah, though, I can't wait to watch this Jubilee episode, kids and inmates.
I have what can only be described as top ass.
What the fuck were you saying though before? Oh yeah, no, I find that's like common though with a lot of people who leave the left is like they're good with jokes about other groups.
Sure,
until their group.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, and that's where it got with Natalie. And it was like, Brandon was like, I'd like you to participate in these, but he's like, don't you and Natalie hate each other? Like, I don't hate her. She's just not a fan of mine because I have criticisms for women, and she still identifies as a woman, unfortunately. So
identifies as a woman.
I could see how she would be offended. But maybe talk to some of your brethren and get them to stop, I don't know, killing babies and selling their bodies for money online. Like, try to do those two things.
But see, this is why the gays are insufferable, because they do all that shit too.
Well, yeah. Well, this is the thing though, is I get criticized a lot by the right for being pro sex work, and I posted a thing today. It's kind of like, revealing.
Is this like from experience? Like,
No. It's just, here's the thing. The God's honest answer is that all of my friends, male and female, who have done sex work and are retired or are still doing sex work are just the most honest, forthcoming, and intelligent people that I know. And I know a million other people that are half, like, 1 foot into sex work who will be like, I'm a real estate agent. And then you go to their page and like they have an OnlyFans link. And they go, I'm a life coach. And you go to their page and they have an OnlyFans list. So it's like, you're all doing sex work. The sex workers are actually the ones who are just telling the fucking truth about it. You know what I mean? So it's like,
there are a lot of gay guys like that like, you'll never hear a word about occupation. You'll never hear a word about like any job. Yet every week they're on a yacht here, they're on a trip here. Like, they seem to have more money than God, but you never know why. I think they just might be whores.
Yeah, or they're in the Hamptons at a Bill Ackman retreat, doing Jewish propaganda, stuff like that.
Did you see?
Where's all this Zionism? If they're a Zionist watching this, I'll cut the check. I'll take it. I don't give a shit. Like, you want me to be a Jew mouthpiece? Knock yourself out. Send me the check.
Oh, please. I wish. Like, I take Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
I'm like Tim Dillon in that regard. I've been like, listen, cut the check. I'll go kiss the wall and play with the fucking pallets of ramen on the border or whatever that you're preventing the Palestinian people from having.
Did you see, by the way, Benny Johnson was at the funeral? I think it's great that they're promoting the gay community like that.
Oh, you think Benny's gay? Okay. Well, he was pretty impassioned. Some of those guys were like Jack Posobiec's speech startled me. I was like, I going to war.
I shouldn't have, but I missed that part.
Yeah, no, I watched the whole thing. I thought, what better to do on a Sunday than cry for 6 hours? That's a great use of my time. But I'm hoping it's all out of my system now, because it's been like that, dude. Every single time that there's a post of like Charlie and the kids or Charlie and Erica, I'm like, oh, it's like that shit is more tear jerking than any movie or anything I think I could see dogs get shot and be okay more than I could watch Erica Kirk videos. And that's just a testament to like how touching they are, because I couldn't watch. I would have an easier time watching people get shot than dogs, but
same.
But
I think a lot of people
heartbreaking.
I think a lot of people are saying that, and especially seeing, there's no buildings burning, there's no riots in the streets. You see the alternative on our side.
Get on it, the right. No, I'm totally kidding.
But I really think that like watching that whole thing and seeing everything that's happened since then, really, for the people on the left who talk about, the right side of history, I feel like I can't think of any bigger affirmation that that's what we are on.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I can't even say that there was ever a point. Like, in the beginning, when our numbers were so much smaller and we were the overwhelming cultural minority, it still felt like the right thing to do. But I think you were outnumbered enough to question it ever. I mean, now it's to the point where it's like, it's sort of, it's the same thing I genuinely say about Israel. It's like, listen, you don't have to hate the Jews, but to still try to defend the actions of that government it's a tough one to stick to. And it's the same thing with leftism. It's like, if you're still on the fucking left at this point, when so much damning evidence has come out about the corruption of your side, the the negative ramifications of your worldviews, like the damage that's happened to women who've had to compete against men in sport, which is something that you were very big on from the beginning.
Well, and especially what they've been doing to kids with the fucking trans shit, like, it's insane.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing, is like, the left is very quick to be like, you guys want to put church back in schools. And I don't, believe it or not, even as somebody who's religious and newly religious over the last few years again, and becoming more that way every day, I don't want church in schools. The problem is their religious beliefs are what's being taught in school. And like, to me, if it flies in the face of biological fact, then it's a religious belief of yours. It has to be considered that. So this idea that women can be anybody who just decides they're a woman, That's a religious belief, and you're teaching it in public schools. So that has to go away.
Well, and the thing is, too, even many religious people on the right, Charlie, for example, was always very clear that he had his personal beliefs, but he does not want the government legislating his religion. And I think that's how a lot of people feel. However,
Yeah.
if those are our choices, legislate your fucking religion. Like, if it's either Christianity in the classroom or trans kids in the classroom, I know which side I'm on.
Yeah, well, I mean, you objectively you could say that they're the same, and what the question is like, who's fucking them up more, the Catholic Church or the transgender movement? I'm sure the Catholic Church has probably still got the numbers just because of their time in the game, but the point is that they're equally bad, they're equally corrupting, and none of that stuff should have any place in public schools. But I'll let you know another controversial belief I have. I don't think we should have public schools at all. I think for this very reason that schools should be privatized and that communities should be responsible for deciding what kind of curriculum they want their kids to learn. So I've been against public, and it's so funny. Like before I was sort of like a all the way on the right guy, which the world decided for me because of my views publicly. Yeah. It was never like I came out and announced like I'm a Republican now. They were just like, no, you're a Republican because you believe these things and we don't like them anymore. But I had several liberal friends, and I remember being on a former friend of mine, a comic named Adam Todd Brown, who hosts, he used to work for Cracked. He hosts the Unpopular Opinion podcast, which surprisingly is all very liberal popular opinions. Imagine that. But I remember doing an episode with him where I was like, yeah, I don't think we should have public schools. And there was another comic on there who used to be a public school teacher. He's like, you're fucking insane. And I was like, well, the problem I have is that you're using government money. And think of it. And this was interesting. I didn't know about this until I saw a video the other day. I think it was a Dave Smith, but he was talking about school, which was, this thing that was basically created to indoctrinate young people to be diehard for their own government. So that's where that word comes from, school. Hold on. Origin of the word school, right? And I'm going to butcher this, but it's the Prussian model. So yeah, and Horace Mann. So the original intention of school, or Schule as it was pronounced, was they were having trouble getting young men to die for their country. They wouldn't join the military. Wow. And they weren't patriotic enough or whatever. So the idea of school was to get them indoctrinated to a sense of nationalism so that they would enlist and go die for their country. So if that is the birthplace of public school, and now we see that that's exactly what's happening, that they are all school, and especially universities, have become indoctrination camps for ideology of whatever the political ruling class is, then I think we have to destroy it for the better of society. And if you want your kids to learn about trans shit in school, then do your fucking private school. And if you want your kids to grow up Jewish, do your private school. And if you want your kids to grow up Catholic, do your private school. That's the way it should be.
That kind of makes sense. I've never known really exactly how I feel about it. If I think it could be fixed, I don't know. But I think we've really been seeing more than ever just how far gone it is, that like, how do you even go backwards from that? How do you even begin to fix it? I mean, look, now you're seeing it come out now with all the stuff with Charlie Kirk, a lot of these unstable women who are teachers. It's like every fucking unstable broad who isn't getting laid and is on SSRIs becomes teachers. And then they're having emotional meltdowns in class. God, I remember even when I was in school, these women who were the teachers, I mean, they would just have like emotional meltdowns and start screaming and sobbing over nothing.
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't have been jerking off in class, Mike, but no, but I mean, listen, in my generation, I think I'm older than you by a little bit at least, but my generation, they weren't that gone. They were just kind of like sad single women. And then you'd have the occasional fucking smoke show like Miss Myers. And I don't know if she's watching this, but Miss Myers, she was my biology teacher when I was in 10th grade, 11th grade.
Oh, there were no cute teachers when I was
fucking smoke show. Yeah, it was funny because like this is how stupid we are as like teenagers. When I moved from the East Coast to Minnesota, it was like spring of 98, and spring of 98, I think. So, um, or maybe spring of '98, and I had to so I think '99. Either way, this is dragging on. But anyway, we had different curriculum on the East Coast than we had in Minnesota. So the classes I was taking at a sophomore level on the East Coast were senior level classes in Minnesota, and so they just put me in those senior classes with seniors. And but because I had to catch up on their whole thing for the year, I pretty much had to stay after school and do biology the entire, like, for an hour after school every day for like the entire spring. And so it was just me and Miss Myers one-on-one. And I can't tell you how many times, like, does she want me to keep dissecting this pig, or does she want me to get into that pussy? Because
my God.
I was like, he's a dumb kid where he was like, I wonder if I, and of course, like, I still have no game, but I had no game in high school. So there was like, you're thinking like, this would be really cool if I were a man and could make this happen. But instead I'll just sit over here and cut up these pigs and think about how cool it would be if it did,
There was nobody for me to have any game with in high school.
No, you should have went to my high school. You could have fucked our gay art teacher. He was all about it.
Oh, you say gay art teacher though, and I imagine someone very swishy and very, I don't know.
He was an older gentleman. So.
Oh, great.
But everybody loved him. He was like everyone's favorite teacher. And he was like one of those, he was like one of them old, not flamboyant gays at all. Like art, like art. Yeah. Like art teacher gay. Like,
art teacher.
Art teacher gay. They're not Nathan Lane in the Birdcage. They're more like Robin Williams in the Birdcage.
The duality of man there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, calm down, you fag.
I think there were a couple teachers. There was one who was real swooshy when I was a kid, and there was this one who, like, she had to have been a lesbian, but you never heard a word about it. They weren't like shoving it down your throat who they're fucking. I didn't know any of my teachers were fucking. Ugh, gross. I didn't want to think about any of them fucking.
Yeah, and somebody in the chat asked, post the link of that school thing. So just look up Prussian school system. And it was sort of like the first time public school was sort of built around the concept of nationalism, with compulsory attendance, a standardized curriculum, national testing. The goal was to create obedient citizens and people prepared for the military. So yeah, it was
I hadn't heard that. That's very much not surprising.
Yeah. And so when you think about if that's the origin and the purpose of school, and then you go, wow, our schools are being they've become indoctrination camps.
I had in high school, public school, this gay black teacher who was an open communist and illegally took the class on a trip to Cuba to teach about how wonderful socialism is.
That's hilarious. Isn't that kidnapping?
You would think.
Wow.
And then afterwards, like, it became a shitstorm. Some of the parents my parents were like, you ain't fucking going to that shit. But then a lot of the parents who had no problem with it initially were pretending like, oh, well, I didn't know about this. Shut up. Like, they're brain dead, these people.
Yeah. I mean, my parents were so, they were so checked out when I was in school that I would have been on that fucking trip to Cuba for sure. I would have just been like, I would have probably just No, I grew up on the East Coast. I grew up outside Philadelphia. So,
hey, I knew I heard East Coast in you.
Yeah, so all my early schooling was like outside of Philadelphia and Delaware County, and then in Delaware. So my dad, when I was like 7, my parents built a house in this like rural place in Delaware called Smyrna, which is obviously named after the Smyrna in England. And that it was these places in the country where they're almost like not developed at all. So like the development that our house was built in was like one of the first housing developments in this town. It was like all farmland and everything else. And my dad wanted to get me and my brother and my mom outside of the city because they had started integrating all the schools, and they had become these sort of racial, hotbeds with, black students coming in from all black poor neighborhoods and getting into fights every single fucking day with the white kids that, had been going to school in those schools for longer. So they moved us down there, And then my parents almost immediately got divorced, and my dad moved me back up to Philly, and then it just put me right into that shit. So, and then I had gone back down there because he ended up marrying who's now my stepmom a few years later. So we ended up going back down there for a couple years, and then I moved to Minnesota like mid high school, where my mom lived.
Oh, so how long have you been in LA?
16 years now. So I've lived here longer than anywhere else.
We were talking before, like, you're still standing there. You're still there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's this thing of, and there's a Thoreau tweet this is how much time I fucking spend on Twitter, which is too much. There's a Thoreau quote, about combating evil. And it says, for the thousands that are hacking at the branches, there's one that stands pulling at the root. And so to me, I said that to you where, it just feels like if you really believe what we believe, and you really believe that the people, like, this is the thing that I disagree with when people look at somebody who would think of Charlie Kirk as like a fascist or a Nazi, and a lot of people use those words to describe him. I go, like, these aren't just political opponents. Like, you have to look at these people like radical Islamists. They have no desire to be a part of what we consider America. So they're not just political opponents. They're my fucking enemy. You are an enemy of the state. Like, you do not want to be part of the America we've built. You don't want to be part of the Constitution. You don't want to live and let live. You don't believe in free speech. You don't believe in freedom of expression. So as far as I'm concerned, if this were war, you would be the enemy, and you don't get the fucking rights of the American people. So if we think Los Angeles is where that is the worst, or San Francisco is where that is the worst, then this is where the battle has to be fought. And if it's an ideological, battlefield, then if you're going to be somebody who's trying to speak on the side of good, and you're trying to put out the better ideas that defeat shittier ideas, you got to do it at the root. You can't do it, and this isn't a knock on everybody that's moved to Florida or moved to Texas, but it's like, you're basically pruning bushes where the landscaping is great, dog. Everybody agrees with you. Everybody thinks like you. You know what I mean? And so, yes, that's a better life, but the weeds are going to eventually climb over our fence into yours, and they're going to be out of control by the time they get there.
No, I agree. It's hard because, like, I miss New York, but I miss how New York used to be, not how it is now. It's just not the same place anymore. Like, I probably will go back at some point, but it's just become unlivable. I mean, even the last apartment I lived in there, and I've only been here a year, I looked up what it's being rented for now. It's double in a year. The rent doubled. Like, I saw the other day a thing for like the smallest apartment in Manhattan, and it was like $4,000 a month. I'm like, it's impossible, and that's very difficult to accept for me because I was born and raised there. I'm originally from there, lived there my whole life, and it used to be a place where being middle class was possible. It's just not possible anymore. It's like, you look at all of these Democrat cities, and it's 100% the haves and the have-nots, the rich and the poor.
Yeah, I have a very humble 2-bedroom apartment in the Valley. When I moved in here, my rent was like $1,250 a month. It's now double that. And if I were to move out, it would probably go up by 50% to a new renter. So this would be, I pay like $2,300 a month. And if I moved out, it would go up to 36 to a new renter. Like that's just because that's the market. So, it's fucking nuts, dude. It's absolutely nuts.
Unit, thank you so much, my love. Ryan Ruth was found guilty today and to do something to himself in the courtroom. Did you see that? Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I forgot about it.
He tried to commit suicide in the courtroom, right?
Yeah. Is there a clip of that? Or I saw the artist's rendering. But I don't think I'm guessing.
The artist rendering is funny. It literally looks like the ghouls from Ghost are trying to take Epstein to hell. Isn't that what the artist rendering looks like?
Wait, I'm gonna find it. Oh my god,
that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like they're trying to take Epstein's soul to hell. It's pretty funny.
That's exactly what it looks like,
right? It also kind of looks like Ted Danson nowadays.
That's what he looks like. I guess I hadn't seen him before. That's what he fucking looks like?
Yeah. I guess. Well, these are watercolors, so a little runny.
They're watercolor. Yeah, they can never get better courtroom artists. These artists always kind of suck.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know what they get paid. I doubt it's one of the more prestigious, art jobs that are out there.
Oh, he doesn't even look as bad as I just saw a picture. He doesn't look as bad.
Yeah, doesn't he kind of look like David Lynch a little bit?
Oh, don't sully the name of David Lynch like
Hey,
that.
listen, I can't help what people look like.
By the way, bitch, I know you're talking shit about my hat, but first of all, it is a beautiful spooky hat.
Oh,
And
Friday
second
the
of all,
13th.
that's not even like the tackiest thing I've got on. Like, you want some items of clothing to talk shit about? Like, come on. Like, that's the least of it. But thank you. I love my hat as well.
I like that you're still holding on to being a hot topic gay. That's what I love the most about you.
It's the mothership. I just found on my phone pictures. I went there to go celebrate the day after the election.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was
You
like,
guys still have Hot Topic in Florida? That really is the most free place in the land.
I know. Like, screw Disney World. That is the happiest place on
That's
earth. No, but
listen.
you know what sucks?
Anybody
They're
can
all-
say that was our favorite place to go in the late 90s because it was, when the record stores were just starting to get crushed by Napster, like in the late 90s. So your FYEs and stuff were starting to close, and Hot Topic was one of the only places that still had metal records. And like we lived in like a stoner Midwest town, so like if you wanted a 311 record or an Incubus record, your record store had it. But if you wanted Slipknot, your record store probably got 2 copies, but Hot Topic would have 10. You know what I mean? So like we bought almost all of our music from Hot Topic.
They used to have like sexy employees, and now they've all been replaced with pronoun people.
Yeah. That is, listen, that's hell for somebody like me because other than the girl, like the girlfriend I had for 12 years is the only one who didn't have a sleeve tattoo. So like being a metal guy and growing up and playing in metal bands, and then all my girlfriends were like you said, like Hot Topic chicks, and then now there are really none of those on the right. I mean, like you got to dig for them. Like maybe in Orange County, you can go down there and find some sleeve tattooed ladies. But yeah, like you said, they're all pronoun people now.
I know, it's depressing. Dylan, I had no idea. So I stumbled into an FYE recently. I didn't know that they still exist. They had the coolest shit there, like all this very obscure merch from horror movies, and they had really cool shit there. I had no idea that FYE was still around.
Yeah, with a lot of those things, you'll have like those one-off franchises or something that somebody just kept open forever because they had favorable mall lease or something. And it was like impossible for it not to profit, so they just kept it open for 30 years.
Maddie, my love, thank you so much, dude. Did y'all see Jillian Michaels just walked off her own show because they were all coming at her over defending Israel? I love her. I've found her videos past couple months. I love her. Did you see that, Josh?
I did not see her walk off her own show, but I will say I've long had an affinity for Jillian Michaels. Like, if you ask me who are some of your biggest heartbreaks that they turned out gay, like she's definitely one of them. Like when she was on Biggest Loser, I go, this might be the hottest woman on the planet. And I think some of it was because I knew as a fat, she would yell at me mean and like, be like, fucking get on the bike, bitch. And I'd be like, that's hot. I like that. And then when I found out she was a box muncher, I was like, nah, man.
Well, she was she wasn't even defending Israel. She was just like is that bitch on that show the one I think it is, the one who was like this libertarian bitch who was like, oh, well, government shouldn't get involved if people want to trans their kids. There's nothing wrong with transing kids, and government shouldn't get involved at the age of consent. Like one of these fucking brain dead libertarians. Do you know who I'm talking about? I hope I don't have the wrong Asian chick, but I think it's the same one.
Oh, Asian chick. There's only like 3 of them. I don't know which one.
I know, right?
Yeah, if it's not they were talking about Lauren Chen or the other one. I don't know. I said I think there's Lauren Chen and then there's the other one. That's it.
Not Lauren Chen.
Yeah.
Or no Chens, not Melissa Chen. Wait, okay, I'm looking it up. I just know this one chick on Twitter really has fucking brainworms. I think it's the same one. But yeah, no, they were going on about all this bullshit that people are going on about, that Israel killed Charlie Kirk and they were giving him money and all this shit. And so she was just asking, like, where's the evidence of this? And
Yeah.
they didn't really like hearing that.
Well, Dave Smith got criticized from people for saying the same thing of like,
that's her. Sorry, by the way, that's her. And I apparently had the wrong Asian. My apologies.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
even on this show, then. Yeah,
even Dave Smith came out and was like, listen, I'm all for a good conspiracy, but there's like nothing about this that points to Israel yet, Yeah. It is just a thing of like, yeah, there was the intervention dinner or whatever that supposedly took place up in the Hamptons where Charlie felt pressured, but that, that kind of stuff happens in a political space when you're dealing with donors and shit all the time. Like, I can only imagine, with Brandon's walk away, like how many backdoor donor conversations he's had with people that want to try to influence the agenda of an organization with their money. Like, that's why people donate to these political active or PACs and NGOs or whatever they are. Like, these people in a lot of cases, they either really believe in the mission, which I think that's one of the things that kind of comforts me about working with Walkaway is I've met a lot of the donors and stuff, and they feel like people that really are behind the mission. It doesn't really ever feel like I've never overheard any sort of propaganda like conversations from donors being like, you need to start pushing this, or you need to talk more about this. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody tell Brandon what he should.
No, all my ears ring. Nobody's ever said what to think, what to say.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that, they really see it as a fight to save America. And, they've almost always, from my experience, been pretty pleased with the direction of the organization and the things that people say. And a lot of the people, I feel like a lot of the people that are involved with Walkaway that are just members or people that are part of the movement, the vibe is kind of the same from everybody, where it's like, they just want to go back to the way America was in 95, dog. Like, can we just get back to that? Where it was like very live and let live. And the economy wasn't utter garbage.
Yeah. Did you see Katie Hopkins got called in to meet with the police because of words she said on a podcast?
No, but it doesn't surprise me that it actually only surprises me that it took them this long, because if that is now that, listen, we were talking at the beginning of the year about going to the UK and doing shows with Katie. Like, I wanted to do America Strikes Back with Katie and Gavin and Anthony. And when they started arresting people for social media posts, I was like, we cannot fucking go over there. Yeah. There's no way.
Well, and that's the thing too. When I saw that, I was like, I don't know if everyone out there realizes just how close we came to this in America.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we were almost there.
I mean, and I think now the pendulum is swinging back in a way that didn't seem possible a couple years ago.
Yeah.
DeVille, thank you so much for the super chat, my love. I think love and kindness is the correct way. I believe that being a total bitch is the correct way, but I love you for that and support you for that. Thank you so much, dude. To DeVille. I got my like bourbon something here.
Oh, okay. I thought you were drinking man piss, but that's
that is kind of what it looks like. No, I have no man to piss.
Oh, that's me neither. Yeah, I live in a very pissless place these days. But it's kind of nice. Like, no, it's kind of nice. I mean, I lived here in this place for 12 years with someone, and then that's been done for almost a year. And then I had like a short-lived thing this summer with a new girl who was like 25, and that was a goddamn catastrophe. Yeah. Did you call me a cougar?
Yeah.
No.
The catastrophe. Why?
Well, because she's 25 and they're young and they're, even if they're conservative, there's a thing with like this younger generation. Now I'm going to sound like a really old guy, where they just like everything that happens is the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone alive ever. Like, they're just, I don't know what this is like over there in Boys Town, but or if you've smashed any 25-year-olds lately, but they just can't compartmentalize that there's a world outside of theirs at all. They have no perspective. They have no like compassion or understanding that there are people that experience things that are way worse than theirs. So like, they have no chill. Like, everything is a fucking 10 all the time. If it's good, it's a 10. If it's scary, it's a 10. If it's negative, it's a 10. And it's just like, dude, dial
That's
it back.
interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the opposite with gays. Like, I would welcome that because at
Oh,
least
well,
as
you should try
men,
fucking a woman.
something. I know, right? My experience is
Sounds
they're
like you
all
and I
doped
need
up
to
on
do a. It
antidepressants.
sounds like you and I need to do a Judge Reinhold, Fred Savage, you know,
Yes,
body
let's do
spot
it.
movie because I need some chill and you want some fucking extremism. Then you need
Yes,
women.
yes. No, I think with the gays is like they're all doped up on antidepressants.
Well,
So
yeah, that's a problem. Yeah.
No, I basically have two rules with when it comes to dating from experience. No actors, no one from LA. I dated a bitch from LA. Worst relationship ever, never again. Never,
Yeah.
ever, ever, ever again.
Yeah. Sorry about that, by the way.
I'm slapping at my own.
That's fun. No, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's some pretty. I've kind of narrowed down the criteria, like for women. I think number one, they have to have a good relationship with their father. Like, I think the problem is if you're dating a woman who doesn't have a good relationship with her father, at some point she's gonna make you fill that void, and that's sort of that's in many ways it's sort of an unachievable goal. Like you're not, because, and then the other problem is I ran into that in my long-term relationship. And then what happens is when you assume the role of dad, it's hard to go back to the role of boyfriend because it just feels gross. Like you now feel like this is my adopted daughter.
Ooh,
and it just ruins all intimacy that you could have with a person, right? So it's like, do your homework and then suck my cock. Like, you just can't put those two things together. You know what I mean? Like, imagine how sick you'd have to be able to go back and forth between those two emotions.
I think you're right that, like, my view has always been, like, I don't really care about age as long as they're between, like, 25 to 40, some 45. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But I think that's incorrect. So, like, I've ended up dating people who are, like, 24, 25, and I don't think I think maybe because the thing is, my parents are, like, 20-something years apart.
Mine too. Mine were the exact same age difference. They were 17 years apart. And I was like, okay, like, I get so, and it wasn't like I went out and pursued this. Like, this just sort of happened and I was just trying to be open to it. Right. But everything that I thought, like, boy, this is what I think it's going to be like to date a 25-year-old. It was exactly like that. And in all of the negative ways.
I think having an age gap like that now is totally different than it was for our parents, because
for sure
now it's like a different planet.
It's like a different century. Like ideologically,
because we know what life is like without social media, without the internet, and like people who are a bit younger grew up with all these things and think that it's normal and think that all of these things are normal that shouldn't be.
Yeah, and the other thing I didn't think about is, like, this was somebody who was, like, in school during the pandemic, and it's like that there's a whole psychological aspect to that too, of like somebody who was still in school during the pandemic years, college or high school. Like, you got to think about that. So I almost think, like, this is gonna get clipped, but I almost think you're better off dating somebody who's fucking 18 now, who like had a normal high school life for the last 4-5 years, than somebody who's like 24 who went through school in COVID, or 22 or whatever, who was in high school during COVID and lost all of the social development that takes place in high school. You know what I mean?
The situation was dire enough with, like, you have kids being raised by iPads now. You have, everyone on every app. Like, it was bad enough before COVID. And then you add that scam into it.
Yeah, and you bring up a really great point about the technology aspect of it. Like, their expectations of instant gratification are insane, right? And listen, I only have this one person that I can kind of base it off of, but like, her thing was like, if she didn't have what she wanted in that particular moment, she would like spiral and would like not know what to do with her. And it's just like, hey man, chill, like, give it fucking 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, you just sent an email off. Like, people aren't sitting by their email waiting to respond to job applicants all day. It's not their only job. So, that was the thing. And And yeah, I mean, so the three criteria. Number one, I think they have to have a good relationship with their dad, and I think with the same would go for gay guys. Like I think they have to have a good relationship with their mother. Like I think a person's relationship with their opposite sex parent definitely has a lot to do with how they are in relationships. So men who have good relationships with their mothers are generally good boyfriends, and women who have good relationships with their fathers are generally good girlfriends and wives.
See, I've heard that all the time, but like my dad is my best friend and I can't get along with fucking gay guys for shit. So
Yeah,
like maybe that's the discrepancy. I don't know.
Maybe it works differently because you're a gay guy, so maybe your opposite sex parent is your dad.
Wait, what? No, but I'm very close with my mom also. Like I have great relationships with both of them.
Yeah, so you're great.
I do not have great relationships with the gays.
Yeah, so and but yeah, so it's like so I think the first one is that. I think the second one is she has to have something in her life that demonstrates that she loves more than herself. So it could be a child, it could be a pet, a dog.
You want to come in as like the stepdaddy?
What do you mean?
You're like, she could have a kid.
Oh, yeah, no. But I mean, like, I do think that there's a, and by the way, that's not an automatic because there are plenty of shitty mothers and plenty of shitty pet owners. So you have to observe their dynamic with that. But if they don't have anything in their life that they have to shepherd and care about more than themselves, that's a red flag. And then the third thing is they have to have a fear or devotion to a higher power greater than themselves. So they either have to love God or fear God, but they cannot be. And then again, these are my personal preferences and observations.
These are good ones. This is smart.
I think if I were to go through all of the good women I've dated in my life, they've had most or all of those things. And I was too young and stupid at the time to realize, that those were building blocks of a potentially really good relationship. And all of the bad relationships I've had have had none of those things. So like the girl I spent 12 years with had a horrible relationship with her father, cared about nothing greater than herself, and didn't believe or fear in God or higher purpose or calling at all. And it came through in her behavior over those 12 years. And so, we're not as much as I'm like fascinated with humanity and the way we do things. I also don't think we're that complex. Like, as much as everyone likes to think like we're all individual, unique snowflakes or whatever, I think of people as more like cars in the 60s. There's like fucking 10 models and most people fall into one of those 10 categories.
I really honestly, above all, have like one prerequisite for dating at this point, because this has been every single person I've ever dated, and I've
13-inch cock, big old hog, right?
I will never, ever, ever, ever again date someone who is on antidepressants.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's a good one. I did not have that on my list, but it should be on my list. Yeah.
Well, and it's so it's omnipresent that I feel like it needs to be a first date question at this point, which is like,
oh yeah,
but it's happened.
Really good question.
Like, you don't find out until you're already involved, and it's like, and then you know exactly how the rest of it's gonna go. But what are you gonna do? Like, end it over that. So I feel like it's something I need to make sure comes to light early.
Yeah, you're right. That's a really good Samantha Mason. I don't know if you remember her. She was like a really big political influencer for many years. Like really pretty, tall, thin, mixed chick. And she was like, went sort of viral for the like think for yourself. She used to have think for yourself t-shirts and stuff, and was sort of like a very neutral political figure of like, hey, just like critically think and make up your mind, and your views should be issue by issue and that type of thing. And then when she lived in Hawaii, and when the Hawaii conspiracies, the Maui conspiracies started going nuts, she was like, I got to get the fuck off the internet and stop dealing with all this shit. But before she left, she said that there were like a handful of questions that you should ask suitors on dates or people that you're thinking of dating. And one of them that she said that really stood out to me was, what is your most controversial opinion? And she was like, you can really cut to the core of who somebody is by making them answer that question.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So I tucked that one away for dates. And I don't want to take credit for it. That was all Samantha Mason's thing. And that's like an opening line with even people that I'm talking to that I think I could be friends with. I'm like, what is your most controversial opinion? Because whether or not they'll answer honestly gives you a ton of information. What they think is controversial, whether you do or not, says a lot about who they are. And then what it is says a lot about who they are, right? So like for people like us who are very outspoken politically, that's a question that almost immediately says you can keep going with this person or you better shut this down right away.
Yeah. Wow, Maddie, good for you. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. Since I started working out, I've been able to go off all SSRI. Good for you, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I don't mean to generalize. I'm not saying it's the case for everybody, but for certainly the guys I've dated who every single one has been on them and they're just soulless. They're emotionless. They're like, have you ever seen Sweeney Todd?
Yes.
Do you remember there's this song?
I mean, I don't know. What is that? Is it like a play or something or whatever the straight answer is? I don't know what it is.
I was just rewatching it and there's this song called By the Sea where it's like she's planning their future together. It's like, oh, we could do this. And he's just like eyes glazed over. Whatever you say. I'm like, oh my God, this is my last relationship. Everyone is like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's it is a noticeable thing amongst people. And you can it's gotten to the point now where you can kind of tell who's on them. Like the minute you start talking to somebody, you're like, oh, this guy's on SSRIs or this girl's on SSRIs.
Yep.
You said, it's like all their edges are dulled. You know what I mean? Yep. So like, there's just no passion. There's no excitement. There's no enthusiasm. They're just sort of like flatlined.
Yep.
Across everything, which is like,
they think nothing of acting in abjectly horrific ways because it doesn't impact them emotionally. So they don't give a fuck how it impacts you.
Well, and this is the thing is like, if you remember the way that they marketed SSRIs to our generation and I'm probably older than me, it was like, you want to take this so that you can get back to having a productive life. And so the whole thing was like, it was, you know what it reminded me of is the movie Equilibrium, where it was like, we're going to remove the part of you that feels inspired or motivated or compelled, and we're just going to make you fucking function. That's the point, is to make you function. And so when your brain is rewired in a way where your only thing is function, morality and all of that goes out the window. Like, honestly, you might have just hit on the thing that has created modern leftism entirely, because what else would explain an entire portion of society thinking pragmatically to the down to the specificity of like, I only think about how this serves me. Right. So like, you know, and that is the mechanical brain at work of just going like, well, you know, this is what I want. And so I'm going to do this without any regard for like, is it the right thing to do? Does it hurt other people? Does it create a problem for the rest of polite society? Like, they don't even think about that. So yeah, it's a real problem.
No, I thought that for a long time. And a lot of these, that's what I was saying about these broads who become teachers and they're emotionally unstable. You can see it. You can see they got SSRIs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's pretty good.
SSRIs. Thank you so much. Sorry, I just saw this. 2 types of actors or theater kids: people who love the craft and people who want to be celebrities. Don't get me wrong. I love musicals. Obviously, it's in my fucking DNA to like musicals.
Mm-hmm.
But theater people make me want to fucking blow my brains out.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
They're very culty.
Yeah. I mean, you know, fortunately for me, I didn't hang with any of those people outside of high school.
Oh, like, I never did.
I didn't go to college, so there was no like, I didn't do drama or anything like that in college. I didn't do acting classes or anything like that. I never did groundlings. Like, I never got into like team sport art, if that makes sense. Like I never did anything like that. And by the way, that could be creatively to my detriment, but Yeah, it is. It is very culty. And by the way, it's also why so much comedy and art is like one note. Like they have one point of view, one opinion or whatever. It's because these people homogenize and then they assimilate to like one way of thinking. And so that's why there are no real creative comedies, is because these spaces of comedy are inundated with all these people who have one way of looking at the world.
Oh my God, the Indian Jesus is here. Thank you so much, dude. What's up? I gotta introduce you guys. You would like each other because you're both amazing.
Okay.
Thanks so much, dude. He has a great channel. I gotta ask you, I'm fascinated by the fact that you have a fucking squad of people with a fucking hate boner for you like I have never seen. Who did you fucking not call after?
That's funny. It'd be nice if it was just that. No, it's not a very complicated story. There's a very popular podcaster who I used to be on a rival podcast from this dude in like 2010. I was a co-host on a show called Nobody Likes Onions, and his rival show at the time, and this is like the early days of podcasting. This is pre-Patreon and everything else. So this is like when guys had paywalls. They had their own websites and paywalls and subscription
plans.
That?
I don't think even I was watching
2010, yeah, 2010. And this dude opened a comedy club, and me and the guy from Nobody Likes Onions performed at it. And the guy tried to fuck us out of money, and then we found out he fucked a bunch of comedians out of money and fucked his business partners out of money. And we talked about it on our podcast. And then this guy decided that everybody who exposed this was now his mortal enemy, and he was going to wage war on comedians. And so he's had a hard on for me since 2010. And then all of his fans have like adopted this Denny, we hate Denny type of thing. And they have entire websites that is just this pyramid of lies of shit people have made up about me. They're obsessed. Like I have the most
good lies though. Like,
yeah, they're ridiculous.
Come up with something juicy.
Yeah, there's one on there that I think is like, there's two on there that are really funny. Like this black promoter that I did a show for in like 2007 when I first started doing stand-up had like recorded all the comics at the show and then like released these albums like with their names on them and was like collecting the revenue for it. And so I had to send him a cease and desist. So this dude like basically took a set that I would have never, I was like 4 months or 3 months into doing comedy. I would have never published this. I was like raw as shit as a stand-up. But then later on, when I became more well-known and had some success, he tried to publish this thing and make money off of it. So I had to like threaten to sue him to get him to take it down. And they're just like, Denny published this himself. And then he took it down because it was so bad. It's like, no, somebody stole my IP and tried to profit from it. The other one that was funny that's on that site is they pulled up like a factoid from my Food Network show. And they were like, we don't know where this factoid came from. Denny obviously made it up. Like, if you think the host of a show is the producer that comes up with the city factoids, you're fucking retarded.
No, my favorite was because I looked at it, came up. I've like searched you to get a picture.
Oh yeah,
and they like pay to keep up website like hate sites on you.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
That you had said your Food Network show was a top 10 show, and they were like, well, actually, only 3 episodes of this season were in the top 10. Like, what?
Right, that's what it means. Top 10. Yeah. It premiered in the top 10. And this is the thing that's so funny is they go, he says he was canceled, but you know, it's actually because of the ratings. And it's like, well, first of all, there was no press release that explained why they didn't pick the show up. So you're guessing. And the argument I would make with anybody who wants to go down the thing of charting ratings is like, okay, when did the network make the decision to change the network that the show was on? So like, tell me where in the programming lineup the show was decidedly moved from Food Network to Travel Channel, where they would know it would get fewer ratings. And if you go back and listen to my podcast and me talking through all this stuff, they made that decision when we were trying to renegotiate my deal. So they literally tried to sandbag our numbers to fuck up my negotiating leverage in terms of driving up my money for my next contract. And they're like, well, we'll just bury you on Travel Channel on Tuesday nights. We'll get you to sign a shittier deal. and then we'll put you wherever the fuck we want. And I was like, well, I'm not going to fall for that, because that's what, that's shitty business. So it's so funny that
it's so funny. Like, anywhere you go, this entire gaggle of
oh
people
yeah, they
you,
follow.
and they're right now in the chat saying, "Oh, this is cringe." You people are here at almost an hour and a half into a fucking stream that you haven't missed a minute of. Like, genuinely, you should be flattered, Josh. Like, I wish I cared about anything as much as these people care about.
Yeah, I think it's listen, I know what my life is like. So for people to be this obsessed over me is fucking sad.
I wish I cared about anything this much.
Yeah, no, I don't. And this
I
is the thing, is like,
to meet somebody that I care about as much as these people.
I know it's, it should be flattering. It's just kind of annoying, but I mean, like, listen, this is the baggage that comes with a guy like me, and it's so funny. Like, the girl I was dating a couple months ago was like a 6-week thing. And boy, it was like the minute that I had made a reference on another podcast that I was seeing somebody new, they were like fucking gang watch, like trying to find out who this woman was, where she's from, how we met. And, so it's like the amount of lengths I have to go through to protect the people that are in my life that aren't public figures is fucking insane because of these lunatics. And well, here's what's and I've said this for a long time. This almost happened when we were in LA, was where one of these dorks came out to one of our shows and was like talking shit to our regular fans, and almost got the shit kicked out of him, because they're like, dude, what are you, some fucking internet dork troll? And they're like, yeah, whatever, faggot, what do you care? And he's like, I'll take you outside and stomp your fucking face, that's what I care. So like, these guys, like, their whole life is online. They have these parasocial relationships with internet personalities. It's very, very cringe.
That's why I kind of like backed off from doing stuff for a while. It's just something about it like really creeps me out. I'm not talking about the people who hate you. I don't give a shit about them, but the ones who it's very strange. Like, I've encountered so many times that I feel like when people show you, when they are a supporter of yours or something, and they show you an over the top disproportionate amount of love, that's turns to hate real fucking fast.
Well, that's bad too, though. Yeah, I don't want those kinds of fans either, though, because like, if you're like, I saw that in the little bit of time I worked with Kanye West, I saw that side of
Kanye West.
Yeah, at the end of 2023. So, or 2022.
Oh boy.
That was an interesting couple months. But anyway, my point is, when you're on the other side of that and you have nothing but yes men sycophants, that's bad too. Yeah. Because then you think you can do no wrong, and you become this, you become a fucking brick wall, where if you have the worst idea in the world and somebody goes, hey man, that's a terrible idea, you won't hear them at all, because you're so empowered by all these yes men.
Yeah.
My time with him was, Candace Owens introduced us, and my time with him was when we were trying to get his shoe company off the ground independently of Adidas. It was right after Adidas had cut him. And she put me in touch with him. I had a background in footwear before comedy and everything else. I worked for Croc Shoes. I was one of the startup guys over there in 2006 to 2012. And so naturally, because I was a canceled guy and I had this background in footwear, it kind of made sense for us to work together. And, we just couldn't get him to commit to like spending any of his own money. He had this thing that a lot of like, black celebrities and black entertainers have. Like, P. Diddy's kind of the king of this. And I worked for his company as well in 2012, Sean John, because I worked for the private equity company that bought Sean John away from Bad Boy Entertainment. And then we operated those stores for like 2 years. And then we ended up selling them back to Sean and Bad Boy and all of those guys. And then that's when I went to work for a check cashing company after that. And that was short-lived. That was only like 90 days. But anyway, they both have this thing where they love to use white guilt to get white people to give them money to go run their businesses. I call it the Beverly Hills Cop. If you remember, the plot of Beverly Hills Cop is basically just Eddie Murphy using white people's discomfort when racism is brought up to just do cop work in a place where he has no jurisdiction. So he would literally just walk into a place, not have a warrant, not have a badge, and they were like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, y'all don't want no niggas in the Beverly Hills Hotel? They're like, sir, calm down. Go in. Do whatever you need to do. Take all of our money, whatever you want. So, like, that's literally how people like Kanye and Sean Combs run their businesses. Like, they literally will put rich white investors and executives, like, on the spot to give them money to do what they want to do. They almost never spend their own money on their businesses. And it's kind of genius. It's a great move. But when you say you hate the Jews, you really eliminate a lot of those whites from contention of helping you pay for your businesses. So I was like, hey man, there are not a lot of people right now that are going to pick up the phone and go, yeah, I would love to give Kanye West $200 million to start a business. Absolutely. You're just going to have to dig into your pocket and do it. And you couldn't pin him down to make any of those decisions. And he did a bunch of stuff that, me and Stephen Smith advised against with him. And yeah.
Oh, you advised against
not the Jew thing. No, I didn't care what he said about Jews. I advise, I was very clear. I was like, listen, you can do this, because he was like, I don't want to spend a bunch of my own money to get this thing off the ground. I go, well, then just pre-sell everything. You can pre-sell stuff, then we can go make it and process it and ship it. Your fans believe in you. What you can't do is do that and not ship the shit. Because if you do that once and you lose consumer faith in you, you're fucked forever. And that's what he did. And this was long after I stopped talking to him. I'm pretty sure, I don't know for sure, but I suspect that his friendship at the time with Owen Benjamin had something to do with me not continuing to work with him, because Owen hates my guts. And
he seems like a fucking nut job.
And the feeling is mutual. I don't like Owen either. I didn't like Owen before we were both right-wing guys. Like, I didn't like Owen when he was a comic in Los Angeles.
Locked forever, and then I've never interacted with him.
Yeah, I've just never liked the guy. I don't think he's honest. I don't think he's good. I think he scammed his own followers and stuff many times too. So, that's just my feelings. Like, listen, you don't have to like me either. But I'm not going to pretend. I'm not, for the sake of us being on the same side, I'm not let me pretend I'm friends with somebody I fucking can't stand. No, I don't
believe in that bullshit of,
everyone don't like him. We'll never like him. And he and Ye were close at the time. And Ye tried at one point to bring us together. He was like, you guys are so ideologically similar. And, I just think you would be more powerful together. And I was like, I don't fucking like him, and I'll never like him. And I'm not going to do it. And he was like, okay, respect.
Similar beliefs does not mean allowing evil into the front door. Like, discernment is something that I think is very important. And and Kanye West clearly has no discernment if he's affiliating himself with a bunch of these fucking people.
Well, and the problem was, at that time, there were so many fucking snakes in the grass coming out of the woodwork. Like, so many people were trying to exploit Kanye. They were trying to get in and bring money, They would promise they were bringing money to the table to help with things, and then they were trying to get him to foot the bill for their agenda. And so there was just a lot of dissension in the ranks, and the proposed org chart of what this company was going to look like changed every day. Like, I'd get a fucking thing that came over email that was like, okay, here's what the retail chain will look like, and it would have my name at the top, and then the two guys I wanted to hire. And then, Steven on the production side and logistics side, and I was going to be on the operations side. And then I would get one the next day that had two other dudes who I never met or heard of. And then now they're over me. And then there's two guys over Steven. And I would call Steven and go, who the fuck are these guys? And he'd go, oh, so-and-so used to run retail for this, and they used to work over here. And I go, I was like, well, they're not on any of these calls where we're actually planning, and we're actually trying to take designs to construction and find warehouses. And why are they not involved on this level? And, so it became very clear to me, around, I would say December of that year. So I started talking to him October, and then it was December of that year. It became very clear to me. It was right after the Alex Jones interview. Remember the famous one where he had the mask, and it was him and Nick Fuentes on Alex Jones, and he did the Netanyahu bit, right? So the last time I talked to him was that day. But it was probably a couple days before that. He was they froze all my accounts. I have no money. We can't do anything, so I can't hire you yet. And my last text to him was hey, man, you don't need to give me a job for me to be your friend and to tell you the truth and what I really think you should be doing in these situations. So I felt at the time, I was listen, all of these people are trying to squeeze every last dime you have in your life out of you. And I respect you enough as a creative person to not do that. It's just regardless of what his legacy ends up being for the rest of his life and his career, the man was such a part of my youth in terms of like his music and the meaning behind it and everything in my early 20s. And I just have too much respect for him to be another fucking leech, another person just trying to like make something out of his life for themselves. And listen, when he and I had the only thing I gleaned from that is he and I had a couple of very long phone conversations. Like when I was sick in Delaware, we had like a 4-hour conversation one night. We had a couple of 2-hour conversations. And those were like life-changing, just talking about God and spirituality and purpose and destiny. And, you know, he has a very unique way of looking at the world that I think is good for creative people. I think like, you know, a lot of people are like, he's fucking wildly delusional. And one of the conversations we had at one point, he goes like, he asked me point blank, he goes, you think you're good at comedy? And I go, yeah, I think I'm okay. And he goes, what are you trying to be humble? And I go, well, you know, I mean, it's subjective and people have different opinions or whatever. He goes, when has your humility ever helped you in your life? And I was like, that's an interesting question. He goes, has anyone ever rewarded you for humility? And I was like, no, I don't think so. Like, you know, you do it because you think it's maybe the pious or the correct thing to do. And, you know, anybody who's listened to Kanye do an interview ever, he's anything but humble. But he's also aware that he's not that way, and it's a choice, because he's like, if you don't believe in you, why the fuck would anybody else believe in you?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Did you see there's this documentary out now about him?
Oh, there's a bunch. I didn't know. Is there a new one?
Apparently they had cameras following him for years.
Oh, are you talking about Yeezus, the one that's on Netflix? That's many years old.
No, it just came out like this week.
Oh, I'd have to check and see what that is. Yeah. I have lost complete contact with him since the end of 22.
I have to say, I think you might be better off.
Well, you know,
in whose name?
Listen, I feel for the guy. I mean, like, this is the other thing that everyone has to take into consideration. Like, you have no idea what it's like to be them. I know what it's like to be me, and it's not great every day. I have no idea what it's like to be the most famous person on earth.
God, I'd shoot myself in the face if
I listen, I understand. Like, I look at that and I just go, the fucking weight of being the most famous person on earth. Like, I couldn't fucking imagine.
I cannot think of a single thing that could make me
You're the most
unhappy.
famous person on earth. So when people would be going, like, what was he like? And I just go, like, what the fuck is he supposed to be like? He's the most famous person on earth. At its highest point of population in all of human history, he is the most famous man on earth. Like, how the fuck do you think you'd handle it? You know what I mean? Like, so I have a tremendous amount of empathy, and I do believe in his heart he's a good man. Like, I don't believe he is an evil person. There's a lot of people.
I think he's just sick in the head.
Yeah. I mean, I would say confused, you know, because again, like, when you are that famous and influential, you're always at war between, like, who am I and who am I supposed to be? And if you have faith in God and you believe God has chosen you to be in that position, which he definitely does, that's a lot of pressure too. So there's, who do I think I should be? Who do the people want me to be? And what is God trying to tell me to be? And so I had a tremendous amount of empathy for what that must feel like, to be so blessed and to have so much and to be so beloved and scrutinized and whatever. And so I really tried to make sure that all of my interactions with him were no different than any of my other friends, and that he was just a human being and just a normal person, and just who was nice enough to be interested in me and ask me questions and talk to me and ask me what I thought about things and the way I saw the world. And so I you know, I always try to walk away from that situation with an understanding of, like, I couldn't ever fucking fathom what it would be like to be the most famous person on earth.
It'd be miserable.
And I certainly would never choose it.
God, no. I mean, like, just the, like, little things that I've encountered, having like 0.0001% little mini notoriety online. Like, I would kill myself if I were actually famous. I don't know how anyone does it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. Somebody in the comments goes, you can release proof of this. Yeah, I don't have to. And also, what a betrayal. What a betrayal of like, imagine if I did have recordings of our conversations at any point. I mean, what a betrayal of friendship that would be, to be like, let me release this so that I don't give a and this is the thing. I have only ever told the truth about everything that has ever happened in my life, and they lie anyway. So what on earth would I stand to gain by continuing to tell the truth in the face of liars? Like, people who are going to lie about you are going to do it no matter what.
I wish I cared about anything as much as these people care about you. I hope so. I hope someday.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, like, that gives me a little peek as to what it's, you know, so imagine you see how much I get. Imagine you're Kanye.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, imagine you can't go into a fucking 7-Eleven without all hell breaking loose. So
like, no, I completely understand why people.
I want to get to a level of success and fame where I can pay my bills without having to think about it, and not an inch more than that. Like, I don't want an inch more notoriety than I need to be able to pay my bills with my profession, and that's it. Like,
I'm with you,
because anything beyond that can really fuck with you.
I've been kind of interested to see that documentary about him that's out now, though, because it apparently follows him with like the Kardashians and all this shit. In whose name it's called, and that just came out.
And that's the other thing too, is like, then you're married to the most famous woman on earth. Ugh. So, you know, it's just like, and then they have their whole side of it as well, you know? So I just think, like I said, I have a tremendous amount of empathy for him, and then trying to chase him around the city to like do meetings and stuff, and knowing how hard he is to pin down and how hard it is to get him to focus on something. I have tremendous empathy for Kimberly, and how much how hard that marriage must have been when you're dealing with somebody that's that creative and that like impulsive of like, oh no, I have this idea, now I want to go do this, and literally will like jump in the car and drive across the city to a factory, because this is the idea that I just had.
Get the fuck out of LA. Get the fuck out of these places where nothing is real and people aren't real. Like, it's just so unbelievably not for me.
Yeah, I understand.
But I saw a clip from that documentary though, where like they're all yelling at each other, like the Kardashian mother and him, and so I'm like, okay, I kind of want to watch this.
Well, listen, you're still gay.
I know.
You still love the drama.
I don't get the appeal of the Kardashians. I don't understand. They just seem to me, I've never watched their show. They just seem to me like the most boring, basic bitches. I don't get it.
You know what I think is really interesting, and I have a very controversial take about the Kardashians that not a lot of people agree with, because people see them as like the beacon of superficiality. Mm-hmm. There's never been a Let's Go to the Abortion Clinic episode of the Kardashians, and it's 6 women who have had all kinds of like non-permanent relationships, and they're very religious. So like, I actually think they are one of the most Christian reality shows we've ever seen on TV. And they're very big on family. They're very big on tradition. And they're also like very hardworking. Like, whether you think their businesses are of any value or not, like, and people go, well, she started her whole fucking thing off of getting fucked by Ray J, which, by the way, Ray J does not get enough credit for creating that empire. That dick should be on display at the Smithsonian. Like, Ray J should have Secret Service detail around him, and his dick should be in a glass case like the Pope when the Pope travels. Like, that thing should be the most prestige. That should be like the most powerful weapon on earth, should be Ray J's cock. That thing should be protected at all costs. That's a kingmaker. But my point is that she could have just been the bitch who got fucked and been on TV and left it at that. She's gone on to create an empire.
No, they are very smart, I will say. I just find
and industrious, yeah. And but listen, people go, oh, they're, the mother's very, slimy and businessy and transactionally, and it's like, okay, that's one way to perceive it. But the other way to perceive it is they took a fuck tape and built an entire multi-generational wealth off of it.
I can't even get to the fuck tape part.
I know you need both. There's not an angle that's going to get me a 7-Eleven commercial of me fucking anybody. You know what I mean?
I missed my calling. I would have been a great whore.
Well, yeah, I think so. So. Well, you're also quite an auteur. Like, you love film and you love like genre. Like, you would have been a good,
really interesting.
Yeah, you probably would have made good porns.
Right? I'm telling you, like, morals and shit is so inconvenient. It is
Yeah.
so inconvenient.
Yeah, I could definitely see you being like the Tarantino of gay porn.
I missed my fucking calling. See,
Yeah.
I'm
Or at the
people
very
who are
least, the Eli Roth of gay porn, maybe.
I would be. Damn it, it's so inconvenient. I see all these whores everywhere and they're fucking making bank. They're wiping their asses with $100 bills. And
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh.
Yeah,
So
that's the
inconvenient
thing.
to have
Welcome to
morals.
2025. It's either Israel or dicks. Those are your two choices to be able to buy a house.
Well, one sec, Josh, before we continue, let's have a very quick word from our sponsors.
It's time for my grifting. Give me all your money. Don't just be a drifter. Help me be a grifter.
Fuck you, pay me.
Hilarious.
So if you guys like the channel, support the channel, become a channel member, join my locals, join my Patreon. The links are below. Send in your super chats. Even you fags who have such a hate boner for my beloved here, super chat if you want me to acknowledge you. We'll acknowledge you, but you got to send in a super chat, bitches. Don't be cheap ass fucks.
By the way, I do have to laugh. Your boy DeVille, who left us a very generous super chat earlier, when I said it's either Israel or dicks, he just wrote dicks. It made me laugh so hard I had to call it out. He's like, there's no question for me which one it is. You know what? I got to be honest. It might be the same for me too, because I don't think dicks are a threat. I don't think dicks are a threat to the world, but Israel might be. So
when did you become such a lover of the Islamists? I feel like
oh no, I hate them both. I hate
that. I can get.
No, I hate radical Islam more than anything. Like
same.
Yeah, I mean, that my defense of Israel is that, like, well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, kind of a thing, right? So it's sort of like it's the same thing with the Kimmel thing. I can at both points go, as somebody who's supposed to be a free speech absolutist, I should be against this, but I think that man is evil and I fucking hate him, so I don't care. It's the same thing with Israel and the Middle East. Yes, I think Israel is willingly committing a genocide, and I would have no problem if they came out. I would have no problem if they came out and said, yeah, they're evil, we have to get rid of them, and that's that. I would go, okay, at least we're being honest about it. It's the idea that they're trying to tell us that it's not that, and then I go, okay, well then how am I supposed to get behind you if we see that that's what's like, that you're trying to wipe it off the map in retaliation for October 7th? Fine, but say that. Just say that. If Israel's government was like, we think Islam is a threat to the West, will always be a threat to the West, and after this attack they proved it, and now we're going to wipe them off the fucking face of the earth, I go, I can get behind that. I don't disagree with that.
I disagree. If any of us were living next door to fucking Abdul al-Sheikh Mohammed and they were fucking throwing rockets through the window, you'd fucking wipe their ass out too.
Of course, but then why?
It could be like a
but then why not? Then why not openly say that? Then why would they not just openly say that? That's the concern I have, is the deception, the idea to try to convince us that that's not what you're doing. That feels weird.
For me, if it were like anyone against radical Islamists, I'm on the side of anyone.
Listen, I agree. I mean, and listen, the one thing that came out of my 12-year relationship to a Middle Eastern person is my understanding of the Iranian Revolution. And no, I'm dead serious. Like her family went through it. Her grandfather was like a high-ranking military officer in the Shah's army during the Iranian Revolution. Wow. And if you study the Iranian Revolution, it's very similar to what's happening in the United States right now. So, they looked at radical Islam as this small thing, like, just go over there. This isn't a threat to our entire way of society. And then it overthrew the entire way of society. So, there is a, putting Talmudic and Catholic dogma aside, there is no compatibility between the Quran and the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
like, there is, we're Jews and Christians are at least reading out of the same book. And then when you depart into the Talmud and Catholicism, I feel like man took a lot of liberties with what they believe the word of God to be, and co-opted a lot of it for their own agenda. That's why I'm the kind of Protestant that doesn't believe in organized church, because I think any man who attempts to intercept the word of God to benefit himself is not speaking on behalf of God anymore. He's speaking on behalf of himself. But that's my issue with like Talmudic Judaism and Catholicism, is that it basically is, in my mind, corrupting, the word of God for the benefit of those groups, and to me, like, the Catholic Church was the first government, was like basically like, no, you give us the tithings, you give us your money, and then we'll take care of society. We'll do it. We promise. And I don't remember a lot of pictures of Jesus walking around in robes and gold and living in a palace, and it just seems to fly into the face of what he preached and believed.
Yeah.
So to me, the not worshiping false idols thing, I mean, what is the Pope? The Pope feels like a false idol.
Mm-hmm. Especially the last couple fucking popes. Or the last pope or two. The last one was a dick. Mikey thinks Repo is a good movie. It is a good movie. Fuck you, Drew. Have you seen Repo the Genetic Opera?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Paris Hilton is in it. It's amazing. It's a musical. It's great.
I'll have to check it out.
DeVille, thank you so much, my beloved. And your team dicks. Your team dicks on this channel. Sea Striker, my love, thank you. I've literally absolutely no respect for Jimmy Kimmel. Woohoo!
Agreed.
Low-life sellout who would lick shit off the bottom of the devil's shoe to bash Trump. Well, absolutely. And also, let's not forget, I feel like this hasn't gotten mentioned enough, is that it's been reported over the years of Democrat politicians writing his monologues for him. Chuck Schumer was telling him what to say. So this is unabashedly political propaganda.
Yeah, I mean, what was that report that just came out? Something like 96% of all of his jokes leaned right, and 94%, or it was more than 98%. So it was like, I think it was 93% of the jokes. 93% of his monologue jokes attack conservatives. 97% of his guests were liberal. And that's out of like 63 guests. So out of 63 guests he's had since 2022, only 2 were not left-leaning liberal guests.
Wonder who those 2 were.
One was Greg Gutfeld, which I guess was one of his highest-rated shows. Or no, that was Fallon. Fallon had Gutfeld on. But yeah, I am curious who those 2 would have been.
Yeah, it's got to be someone who's like an actor that doesn't really talk about politics or is like low-key about being on the right. Like,
well, the only person I can think of off the top of my head that one probably would be Chris Pratt, because he's an A-list movie star, so you can't avoid him. But he's definitely
not like overtly political. He's just kind of like
he is Christian. He is kind of Christian conservative. I mean, he's married to Schwarzenegger's daughter, so.
Are they conservative? Aren't they? Oh yeah, I guess they're technically conservative. I just think of Arnold Schwarzenegger as being a Democrat, but he's not.
Yeah, well, he does lean a lot more left since he was the Republican governor of California. But you got to remember, like, Maria Shriver is from a lifelong political family, and they would be considered like the Kennedys would be considered conservative by today's standards.
But I don't think they get that. I think that they still go along with this bullshit. That's my issue, is that all these people, the ones who might not agree with everything, they have no problem going along with it every step of the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's so blatant, the left lean of Hollywood and late night and all of that stuff, that like, you can't. This is the problem I have with the left, is that they love to pull the fucking meter in their direction when they have the power. And then when they lose the power, they go, wait a minute, aren't we supposed to do the objectively right thing? It's like, fuck you.
Fuck you. Nope, not this time, bitch.
No, fuck you. You didn't run it that way. Yeah. You didn't do the objectively right thing. So fuck you. Like, I do believe that sometimes the being principled and moral is honestly saying, fuck you. I don't care about what you think is right or even what I think is right. Fuck you now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just to, you know, it only goes in one direction for us to do the principled thing, the moral thing. No, screw you. They need to feel the pain of their own rules. And then once they do, then we can maybe plot out a new way forward, but not until they're fucking, you know,
well, that's why
the consequences of their own beliefs first.
Yeah, that's why that thing that I clipped of Gavin, like I watched the clip on YouTube and it inspired me so much to cut it shorter and put it out myself and share it, and it went viral as I kind of expected it would, because it is how so many people feel. Like, dude, fuck you. You can't fuck our people over and do a completely biased, unprincipled methodology in the way you run the country, and then we get empowered and you go, whoa, what about free speech? What about all these things we're supposed to care about? Like, fuck off.
I'm trying to find the clip so I can show it. He expressed my views so fully. I'm trying to find. Okay, I'll find it on your thing. But yeah, no, what he said is my thoughts exactly on this.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it like I said, it inspired me so much when I watched it, where I was like, I got to share this, because this is like, I imagine so many people, you know, just feel this exact same way.
Oh yeah, he just like speaks my thoughts on this.
What we did in canceling Jimmy Kimmel is hypocritical. We talk about free speech, and then when someone says something we don't like, we cancel them. It's not consistent with our values. And I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. You kicked me in the balls, I gouge out your fucking eyes. I'm not doing some Dave Portnoy explanation on why this is consistent. It's hypocritical. We're hypocritical. This is a fucking war. Fuck you. You got me fired, I get you fired. It's like I say to my daughter's boyfriend, you make her cry, I make you cry. We're making you cry now, motherfuckers. This is who post-Molly Jimmy needs to suffer. And we're making him fucking suffer. And we're going to make them all suffer. The gloves are off. We're hypocrites now. You made your bed. You're fucking lying in it. And other colloquialisms such as that. What we did.
That's it.
Oh, I love it so much. I love it so much.
His
fucking on.
His button at the end of that, and other colloquialisms such as that, made me spit out my drink when I was watching it, because it's just so Gavin's sense of humor.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that. I can't remember what movie that was, where the actors are just saying maniacal laugh instead of doing it. Where they're like,
Muppets!
"Oh yeah, maniacal laugh." Like it's like to me that's what it felt like. But it's like, and other colloquialisms such as that. But what was I going to say? Well, and the thing was that the clip of theirs is longer on YouTube. But I was like, oh, you got to cut this to where it looks like he's capitulating to this moral high ground of like, we are being hypocritical. And so, you know, I think my cutting of that, my sensibilities in cutting that the way that I did was just looking at it like a comedy bit of going like, you got to capture the misdirection for it to really draw people in. And I think that's why it worked. And it got him unbanned. So I'm happy. You know, like this is the thing I tell people about, like Gavin and I don't talk every day, but I consider him like a brother. He was one of the few people that platformed me when I got canceled and offered me a job so that I could fucking pay my bills and make some money. And that's why I tour and try to put money back in his pockets and Anthony's pockets, by putting our show dates together and all of that stuff. And I've always ever just tried to do things to return the favor and show gratitude, you know, that he put me under his umbrella when the rest of the world was just trying to fucking delete me from existence. So I'll always support him. I'll support him when he's wrong too. So, you know, and I've proven that historically. His FBI prank was pretty unpopular and poorly received. And I still supported him because he's my friend and he was trying to do something that he thought was funny and artistic. And I had his back the entire way. And that was a big part that exposed sort of the difference between me and Owen. Is Owen, instead of being Gavin's friend and trying to understand what the bit was, he thought it was more advantageous for him to blow the lid off of the prank and look more pious than Gavin. And that was where I was just like, yeah, fuck this guy, you know? So, and then he tried to pin it. Then when he and Gavin made up, he tried to pin it on me and be like, Denny was behind the whole thing. And it's,
apparently you're behind like all the ills of the world.
Yeah. Well, that was just simple as Owen recognizing that I have a lot of haters, and that if he just pinned it on me, that people would jump on that and be like, yeah, fuck him. Right. So, he's a pretty calculating guy, but I don't like him. So
no, that guy sucks. Well, what have you got coming up? Anything exciting?
No. No, I do have a new podcast series I'm launching called Vulgar Puritan, which is exploring sort of current events and talking about this new venture into faith and understanding my faith and my interpretation of the Bible. Because as much as I like to link, like it's sort of like when we call ourselves libertarians or we call ourselves conservatives. Like I call myself that because it's kind of the closest thing that represents what I believe. It's the same thing with Arminianism, which is a form of Protestantism that is not Calvinist, meaning it doesn't believe in predestination, as in there's a selected chosen people for salvation, that salvation is available to all that choose it. But I'm very like anti the church and anti any of these things that like men have gotten together and made in the name of God that isn't the Bible. Just feels corrupt to me. So anyway, the teachings of Arminius are they're sort of the foundation of a lot of these other Protestant movements that evolved afterwards, but there are really no Arminists anymore. They're either Baptist or Methodist, you know what I mean? Like they or Lutheran. They've all sort of evolved into these other sects of Protestantism, which in a lot of ways are capitulations to Catholicism, where they're just like, well, we'll just do our own church. And it's like, well, wait a minute. If you're protesting the church, the authority of the church, then to go start your own church feels kind of hypocritical, doesn't it? Like that just seems strange. So the purpose of this new podcast series is to take people along the journey of how I am investigating my faith and what I believe, and correlating that to scripture and finding scripture that maybe influences what I believe or changes it or reinforces it. And it's trying to take the audience on that journey of saying, hey, it's okay if you don't feel like you fall into some particular religion. Like, go on the ride with me, because we're going to look into this stuff together and explore it. And I'm going to go, this is how I'm feeling today. I want to look through scripture that either reinforces that as the right way to think or refutes it, and talk about how it makes me feel. So the first episode I was actually going to do tonight is about forgiveness, and I walked away from the memorial on Sunday, Charlie Kirk's, being like, listen, I get that she's a great Christian and forgives that man, but I don't think I could do it. I don't think I have the ability to forgive in my heart like that. No, people who want to see me destroyed. And so
I'm Italian. We're vengeful and petty.
Yes. Yeah. So, I really have a hard time wrapping my head around that concept of Christian forgiveness. So I want to explore that. I want to explore the scripture that talks about it. I want to explore the history. So one of the things I don't think gets talked about enough is understanding religion as it pertains to the historical events of the time, right? And saying, so like, why might this have been something that was emphasized in the Bible then, and would it apply now? So, to me, it's just like a fun project, and it's sort of like saying, I'm doing this thing on my own because it's something I'm interested in. And perhaps a lot of other people are on this same journey of like going, oh, how much of Christianity do I agree with? Maybe I'm religious, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm thinking about it. So I kind of just want to take people on that ride.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I'm completely with you, B. I'm Christian. I have a hard time forgiving someone like that. I don't forgive someone for
petty shit. Yeah.
Slightest thing. My mom always says, she's like, I believe in everything my church says, except love your enemy. I don't love my enemies. I hope they drink fucking poison.
Well, that's what was beautiful about Trump, right? He's like, I fucking hate he didn't say enemies. He said opponents, but he thinks of them as enemies, right?
Oh,
He's like, I fucking hate my opponents. I was like, yeah, me too, dude. I get it. Like, and I'm not going to sit here. Yeah. Okay. So this is interesting. Forgiveness doesn't mean absolve the other sin. It's not letting them drag you down with wrath and hatred, putting your faith in God to give his judgment onto them. But see, this is what I think is very interesting, because there's quite a divergence from Old Testament to New Testament in this. Like, Old Testament God was very vengeful and wrathful.
That's a good
and Jesus is kind of like a Brentwood hippie monk who's like, it's everybody's fault. It's fine. I'll go on the cross. I'll die for everybody's sins and absolve you all. And old God was like, if you guys don't stop sucking and fucking each other, I'm going to flood the whole goddamn planet. So
yeah,
like
Old Testament God was definitely Italian. He was fucking vengeful.
Yeah, I like Old Testament God. Maybe I'm a Jew, but I like Old Testament God more than Jesus. Jesus seems a little faggy sometimes, if I'm being honest. So,
oh my God, Josh.
like, but God is
you got haters.
Yeah, God is Tony Soprano. I like God. His son, sometimes, I don't know, little questionable at times.
Oh my God. His son is AJ Soprano.
Yes, his son is AJ.
Give me a rewatch, by the way.
He's too soft. He's too soft. Yeah, he's too soft. He's too nice.
Oh,
so
I have like 2 episodes left in my rewatch, and I don't want it to end.
I do a rewatch probably every 2 years. I rotate. I'll do a Seinfeld rewatch, and then I'll do a Sopranos rewatch.
It's so good. It just, like, my entire mother's side of the family is like that to a T. Like, that show was a fucking documentary, like down to the tiniest little things. So like, it just makes me think of like my childhood.
Yeah, I where I grew up in Philadelphia, obviously my whole family's Irish, and we have no connection to Italians other than my brother's a contractor, and so I got to see a lot of mob stuff from the contractor's side of things.
Ooh.
You know, so it's sort of interesting, like seeing like the way that they sort of have construction wrapped around their finger in these older cities is very, very interesting. And one of the things that I think has never really been talked about with Trump, that I think is like a real question I've always had about him, is like, how did he become such a builder in New York City without being heavily integrated with the mafia?
Let me pull something up.
And so either he was very good at keeping his dealings with them hush hush, or he somehow fucking worked around them without getting whacked for like 30 years, 40 years.
I think he was probably so like my grandfather was an Italian singer who rejected the mob that wanted to control him because they controlled Frank Sinatra. They were kind of like rivals.
Frankie Valli too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They like basically owned his fucking masters.
I think it's probably the same thing with Trump.
Oh, you think so?
Is that like he rejected them controlling him, but he was still kind of good with them.
Yeah.
This is what's crazy though. Let me pull this up. So I have no idea. I have no idea what this is about. But I have no idea what this is about, but I saw it on Twitter forever ago and it lives in my head rent free. In this clip, Sammy the Bull Gravano explains that he used a brother-in-law of singer Jimmy Roselli to reach Trump about a boxing fight. So singer Jimmy Roselli is my grandfather.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I don't know if this is true. I don't know anything about this. So I've always wondered.
I didn't know if we were going to watch it or not.
I don't think it like says anything about what the text says. So
I see. I just
wondered. Oh, I'm excited for your podcast though. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool. And I'm going to do it 2 times a week. I'm going to try to do like obviously I want to have you on, so I'm going to try to have a guest for 1 episode a week and then do a solo episode every week. So
I love it.
Yeah, but it's really about, you know, it's for me, it's more trying to be disciplined. So like, if only I could have a podcast that makes me work out every day, you know what I mean? Like, it's trying to have some accountability to the commitment. So to me, it's like, if I make this commitment to my audience that I'm going to read the Bible with them, basically, then hopefully it will make me do it more in a disciplined way than if I were just left to do it on my own. So.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I need to find something to force my ass to work out. I'll do like 2 days and that's it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm the worst at it. And by the way, it's like not hard. Like the biggest problem with me is not that I overeat. It's that I'm not active enough. Like if I get going on a routine and I'm working out on the weight just falls off. I'm just so bad at sticking. Yeah, I'm just so bad at sticking to it.
I eat too much and work out too little. That's my problem.
Yeah, well, I would love for my result of doing that to look like you. So that would be way better.
Oh, I love you. You're the best. B is excited for your podcast, as am I. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be fun. And the goal is to have, like, I'm trying to get other people that are also on this sort of journey of like investigating their faith and thinking about what they believe. But the idea is to sort of approach it with there's no right or wrong answers, like it's really trying and in a way, like, if you're a sola scriptura Protestant in any way and you don't really believe in the concept of church, then what should be done is you should be getting together with your friends and reading the Bible together and talking about it and discussing it as spiritual, intellectual people and saying, like, what do we think about this? What do we think God would say if he were here today? How would this be different in modern society? How would this be, so to me, it's kind of taking like maybe a historical, academic and social approach to reading scripture rather than just reading it under the presumption that it is right without interpretation. And we don't do this anymore. If you think about it, like in the time after the King James Bible was published, all of these new theologies arose because people were reading it and having different interpretations. And we just sort of stopped doing that. You know what I mean? Like, we got to a point in society where we go like, no, this is enough. This is enough interpretations of the word of God. And then we'll just join one of these clubs. And then we have to commit to that 100%. And it's like, no, I think we should continue to explore theology and continue to read the book. And, like, you ever love a movie when you were a kid and then you go back and watch it 20 years later and you go, it's like I'm watching a different movie. Everything that I thought I remembered about it is different. The way I feel about it is different. My appreciation for it is either more or less, but it's different. I think everyone should be doing that with scripture regularly. Like, I haven't read the Bible front to back since I was a kid in Sunday school. And so to me, I want to explore it as a man who's lived a long life now and see how I feel differently about certain things and how it resonates differently.
Oh, I love that. Well, I can't wait to watch it. Dude, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's been great. And we got to do it in person again when we're in each other's neck of the woods.
Florida, bitch.
I will. I have friends that are
nasty LA.
I have friends that are getting married there next month. I really want to try to make it out, but
come make it out. Yeah, we got to do
it's just a matter of spending money. I hate spending money.
I hate spending money.
I hate spending money on vacation.
But I'm so good at it.
I would love to go, but then I'm like, that's like $2,000. That's like a month's rent for me to go for a week. So
please, New York now, that's like a day's rent.
No shit.
That was horrible.
No shit. So,
but yeah, we got to do this again.
Yeah, well, we'll do it on mine here real soon. So
let's do it. And thank you, chat fam, for hanging out. Thank you, fags, with your hate boners for my beautiful Josh here. Thank you for the ratings and the algorithm feeding. I love it.
Eyes are eyes, right?
What's that?
Eyes are eyes, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. I'll be live again on Friday. Tomorrow I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights. I'm very excited.
Oh yeah, you guys have that out there too.
Yeah, it's like a big thing here.
it's a big thing here too. I live like 10 minutes away from it, and there's like a ton of traffic in my neighborhood late at night now because it runs from now until October.
That sucks. But I'm very excited to go. They've got like Terrifier stuff that I'm very excited about.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing this year, right?
Yes, I'm so excited. It's gonna be amazing. But yeah, so I'll be live again on Friday. Thank you guys for hanging out. Follow his stuff. Follow my stuff. I will see you guys on Friday. Bye.